Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Riot, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and lugubrious subterfuge as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with I Want to Vanish from All This Useless Beauty, released in 1996. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello. Giving with one hand and yanking it back with the other, the cognitive dissonance populated throughout this piece is beyond belief. The melody is somber, the message is much more complicated and amusing. I want to vanish. This is my fondest wish, to go where I cannot be captured, laid on a decorated dish. Even in splendor, this curious fate is more than I care to surrender. Now it's too late. The easy conclusion of this first verse could be the perils of fame, and while I can't refute whether it is or is not, it's the wording, the complicated rhyme scheme, the imagery, and the overwrought sentiment that elevates it past its thesis into the pleasing soundscape that paints a gorgeous picture in the listener's mind, baroque and erudite in nature, whether intended or not, who can say? The use of the word captured in this verse is simply sublime. If we are going down the easy route, it evokes the singer's recorded voice, yet another obligatory interview, or even an unwanted snapped photo. Of the more pedestrian sort, perhaps, it helps to hem in the piece, justifying its thesis statement of wanting to vanish, something against someone's will, to be sure. Compare and contrast this word seeming antonym, surrender, and it embraces the oblique morass that it feels as if it were intended to be. The notion of being taken against one's will and that of giving up within just a few lines nicely plays upon the poles of agency. At once, the thesis statement is continually expounded upon. Whether in wonder or indecent haste, you arrange the mirrors and the spools to snare the rare and precious jewels that were only made of haste. The lexical ambiguity of indecent as two words versus indecent as one word boggles the mind, providing the listener with a choice of what imagery is on display, good versus evil, perhaps, with Mr. Costello's exquisite use of word economy once again shining through. Going back to the easy conclusion touched upon in the first verse, the first two lines of this chorus, with its mention of mirrors and spools, could suggest and or cloak a writer's autobiographical topic and then placing it on a spool, which in itself is a mirror, a self-referential mention, perhaps, of the inches on the reel to reel that will then again double back on itself to again be a self-referential depiction as viewed in a mirror of a mirror. This notion throws the assertion of wanting to vanish in disarray, uncovering its potential underlying intent, suggesting a proud legacy that has momentarily been usurped by fatigue. After all, they say it's not polite to brag. As with the words captured and surrendered in the first verse, using the thematic word snare, the mention of rare and precious jewels in the next two lines of this chorus is ultimately subverted by the word paste. If you knew this meeting, then I'd very much like to be your best friend. But as the research for this slow drag has taught me, as I had no idea, paste refers to fake or costume jewelry with no hint of the common definition of paste to be found, but rather it is a highly polished lead glass that oftentimes shines brighter than true gems. So it's an imitation, an imposter, if you will. If not better than the real thing, at least it's happier than the real thing. If you should stumble upon my last remark, I'm crying in the wilderness. I'm trying my best to make it dark. How can I tell you I'm rarer than most? I'm certain as a lost dog pondering a signpost. More vivid imagery, more stunning contradictions, and a beguiling turn of phrase of the last remark of this verse that feels as if no one except for our beloved entertainer himself could ever come up with. Of this, I am certain. This small, quiet piece is so big and so loud. It's as if the weight of continually being taken out of context, of being frustrated by willful misunderstanding in this instance, epitomizes what it means to want to vanish. Then again, this certainty is again met with contradiction. Rarer than most could so easily serve as Mr. Costello's epitaph. If it weren't for my aim is true, that is, which, to coin a phrase, has been set in stone for 50 years now. The mere suggestion of illiteracy, the lost dog pondering a signpost, is absolutely phenomenal coming from this true wordsmith, the economical imagery breaking through with vibrant clarity that provides humility to the preceding declaration. I'm rarer than most, don't brag, I'm lost. I want to vanish. This is my last request. I've given you the awful truth. Now give me my rest. This coda, so beautifully written and of course sung, seems to prove the assumption of lugubrious subterfuge. The only thing missing is a fainting couch behind the speaker with the back of the hand pressed delicately to the forehead. Although justifiably dramatic, I'm being slightly melodramatic myself just to bring the point home of the bathos contained within this fantastic piece.
Dig it.
Again, this has been a slow drag with I Want to Vanish from 1996's All This Useless Beauty on a lush and complicated album billed largely as covers. I Want to Vanish, or so I understand, is by, for, and of Mr. Costello. As with paste jewelry, this piece looks like one thing, an earnest plea, but continues to subvert its own seriousness with sly contradictions. It does what so many Mr. Costello pieces do, allow the listener to affix their own thoughts and emotions upon his carefully crafted words that lead you to exactly those thoughts and feelings. As always, I bless whatever's in the sky above for bringing us our beloved entertainer. What a great piece. Other precious gems from all this useless beauty you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episodes 9, Grace and Virtue. That's a slow drag with all this useless beauty. Episode 23, False and Lovely Modesty. That's a slow drag with little atoms. Episode 56, Pure Illuminated Sweetness. That's a slow drag with distorted angel. Episode 61, A Pirate's Cutlass. That's a slow drag with poor fractured atlas. Episode 76, Sweet Smoldering Scent. That's a slow drag with starting to come to me. And episode 101, The Twilight of Infamy. That's a slow drag with The Bridge I Burned. And that's it for today's slow drag, my fellow Elvis Costello aficionado. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with another sexy slow drag. So until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag.